in just a second on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. Okay, folks, I'm wanted to do a little video here and go live in reference to the unfortunate passing and murder of Officer French of the Chicago Police Department, who was killed several days ago in the line of duty, shot in the head while doing a traffic stop. I have on the line with Camille and John, because this is an impromptu live video. I've got them on conference call and we are going to speak about this. One of the main topics I wanted to talk about, other than, unfortunately, Sir French losing her life, is the fact that the deputy superintendent, from what I'm hearing from a lot of news sources, denied a ritual of the Chicago Police Department, which is to have the bagpipes play while she is being taken to the medical examiner's office. And said, a quote from the news sources that I have been able to read, quote, "We don't have 20 minutes for that shit." Which I can't even tell you how pissed off that makes me when I hear something like this. These cops put their lives on the line out here, and now they have to worry about not only taking all the crap from the Chicago elected officials and everywhere else, but now they don't even have their own deputy chief backing them and letting them do the one thing that they have done for I don't know how many years, I'm sure forever, which is play the bagpipes while she's being taken to the medical examiner's office. It's just appalling. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to have these two guys weigh in. John, I know you're on the phone with us. Give me your take on it.
Well, first of all, much like you, it's absolutely appalling that, they would allow this ritual to be, usurped. The biggest thing is, we put our lives on the line every day. We don't care who we're trying to protect. We're doing our job. And, I have attended more police officer funerals than I care to admit. And honestly, on the days that we have our funeral, processions that we have and things like that, personally, at that point, that's where the brotherhood comes in. It is for us because we know what the thin blue line is. And she stood on the thin blue line and gave her life for the citizens of Chicago. And for them to deny any honor that should be given them is ridiculous. It's abhorrent. And then later on, I believe Lori Lightfoot was asked about it, and her defense was the fact that she stated that the medical examiner had changed the protocol and would not allow the procession, which the medical examiner, to their credit, said, "Oh no, we didn't change our protocol whatsoever, and there would have been no problem if they had to wait 20 minutes for the procession," which leads me to believe that even the deputy commissioner or deputy superintendent was making a political decision or acting at the behest of the politicians, probably the mayor, I don't know, where they made this judgment call to deny the officer their honor. Someone laid their life down for the citizens of Chicago, and it was, that it's just, it boggles my mind, the fact that they couldn't take 20 minutes to deal with this.
Right, I agree totally. Camille, go ahead and weigh in for us.
So the Chicago police officers, they're already in a war zone with a lot of the gangbangers and the citizens of the community. Now you see, and apparently it's been brewing for a while, a war between the officers and the city. You got the mayor who has been against them. She came to the hospital and they actually turned their backs on her. You got the administration that is obviously denying just a short, respectful tradition that's been passed down for generations. And I'm just wondering what made them make that decision. That just seems like the worst possible thing at the moment we just don't need to do this. Sometimes we do need to slow down and focus on the small things and focus on these are the kind of things that officers need to go through to help heal. They're being attacked on every front, and to just rush past it, no, get it out of here, is just, I like what John said, abhorrent. That where would that come from? How would you say, you know what, I think this is a good idea. Let's just alienate the officers against us even more. And the fact that the mayor backed the situation up just goes to show that she doesn't care about these cops. I would be interested to hear what, because I know he was the superintendent, the number 2 person. What have we read or heard anything of what the chief has actually said about this?
No, I have not
heard anything.
Yeah, I agree, John. I have not heard anything. I just feel for her family. Obviously, they've lost a loved one. They've lost a hero. The city has lost a hero. And to deny this woman the one thing that every police officer knows is going to happen when they die in the line of duty and they lay down their life for their community is that they are going to have their brothers and sisters in arms, at their funeral, playing the bagpipes, having the 21 gun salute, having the flyover, taps being played, all of that. And I'm not saying that won't happen when they do her funeral, but this is a ritual for the Chicago Police Department to gather after the line of duty death, one of their officers, and play the bagpipes as they bring her body or their body to the medical examiners. And that was denied. Why? I want to know why. And for those of you listening, and I know we don't have a whole lot of people on right now, but for those of you that listen or you watch this later, I implore you to write a letter or an email or make a post. Who the hell are you, Mr. Deputy Superintendent, to deny this officer who laid her life down for your city? Who are you, sir, to deny this of this hero? You in my book, you're a piece of shit. And I'll just say it right up front, you're a piece of shit. And if the officers in Chicago don't do something about this, don't rise up in their unions and rise up and say, we demand an apology or something, then shame on them. It's absolutely, this is terrible. Just terrible. I heard it today. I was on the way to a job and I heard it on Fox News Network on the Sirius XM. And I'll tell you what, I was so mad in my truck. I'm glad nobody pulled out in front of me or nothing, because I probably would have done something stupid, because I was just appalled. So please chime in, give us your comments. I will voice them on the air here and we'll talk about them. How do you feel about this? Jody wrote in and said, I'm sorry for her family. Absolutely. Me too. These are the ones that have to deal with this now for the next however long, they're around. They have to deal with
their lives.
Yeah, the rest of their lives dealing with losing a loved one. And, she's doing a damn traffic stop. She's doing her job and she gets shot in the head. Just like the Daytona cop a couple of months ago, doing his job, checks out with a suspicious person and gets popped in the head, and he's still, they don't even know if he's going to fully recover or not. It's just, and this country of ours, man. I hate to say
Hey,
it
Ronnie.
because I love this country, but it's going to hell on a handcart. Yeah, Camille, go ahead.
And it's also at the same time, there's another officer who was shot at the same time with her, and
Fighting
he's still
for his
suffering
life.
in the hospital.
Yeah, fighting for his life. Absolutely.
And the
Yeah,
administration is going to pull this just like nickel and dime petty animosity crap. It seems nonsensical and just another shot to the already wounded Chicago PD.
And if I can chime in,
go ahead, John.
one of the biggest problems we have with law enforcement today, based on the entire political and retain officers and officer morale. And as the deputy superintendent of the Chicago Police Department, how the hell does he think that this might help in retaining, recruiting officers and or increasing morale? Because if I was a Chicago police officer at this point, I would be doing everything in my power to ensure, if he's the one who made this decision or he authorizes this decision to the department, I would do everything in my power to make sure he is removed from that position. Because if I'm an officer and I know my administration doesn't have my back, I cannot work there.
Right.
Because it's not me.
Hey, Ronnie.
Yeah.
So I know that I've read that there's been a lot of restrictions put on these officers. Like I think just recently they put a restriction where they can't do foot pursuits. It's like, what are you trying to do here? You have the worst violent city in America, and instead of focusing on these, this gun violence and these felons who are committing these crimes, you're focusing on the law enforcement officers and hindering them. How about hindering these bad guys and putting them in jail and doing something right for the city? This just seems backwards in my mind.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Well, I just wanted, like I said, I just wanted to get on. I wanted to do a little video here, a little live chat here with you guys. And it doesn't look like anyone is on right now, and that's fine. This will be posted on our channel, surviving the badge, and maybe we can get some comments, which we will answer and give you
on the 20th.
Well, we'll give you a response back on YouTube and on Facebook so that, you have an answer, they have an answer from us. And if there's any questions or comments that stand out, we'll bring it up on the 20th when we do our next live show, reference canines and Cooper the Wonder Dog. But anyway, so do we have any closing, anything you want to say before we get off here? We're just doing a short one here, John, but go ahead, buddy.
Well, all I would like to say is whenever you see a police officer, thank him.
Or her.
They are willing to put their lives on the line for any one of you. So if you're from Georgia and you're in Seattle, that Seattle police officer will be willing to put his life on the line for you. Every one of these officers is willing to do that for complete strangers. And just keep that in mind. So when you see an officer, thank them for what they do. And I'm about done with that. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. Go ahead, Camille. Final words here.
Well, I couldn't have said any better than John did. He's absolutely right. Just appreciate how much pressure your local law enforcement is under from both sides of the coin, and maybe step back and understand from their perspective just a little bit. Just take a breath and, try to understand that these are some tough times going on right now.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better, guys. I'll leave those comments as our closing comments. I may have been having a little problem with Facebook here. I'm not really sure, but I know for sure we are live on YouTube. I did not see anyone on Facebook that had commented. So I will close out with saying, rest in peace, Officer French. Those of us who have retired and are still on the job are saying prayers for your family. And we are always here for the family in blue. And we will chat soon on August 20th. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. And give us some comments. Give us some meat to talk about. That's how we keep this channel going, is by your comments and by your thoughts. We love nothing more than to talk live about it. And everyone please have a safe weekend, and God bless. Thank you.
All right. I agree.